It's Monday, August 12th. You've got Coach, you've got Goose, and you're entering into the core. Brought to you by Zelcore Plus, the one cryptocurrency wallet for all your custody and trading needs. For more information about Zelcore Plus, check out Zel.network.
And welcome back. We are sitting here today with Growdigi from Proof of Review. We've had Growdigi on episode 3 earlier in our podcast session, so we're excited to welcome him back. Growdigi, how you doing, man?
I'm good, thank you very much for asking, and it's really great to be back on the show.
Absolutely, and we got Goose, of course. Goose, what's going on, man?
Hey, Coach. Yeah, Growdigi, you were one of the first guests we had on the core back in April. So nice to have you back, and I'm looking forward to our conversation today.
Well, for sure, a lot of things have changed on our end with the core podcast. We've started incorporating more guests since that episode, and we've kind of changed the format just a little bit, but something that's really cool is the Proof of Review has also been updated as we speak. So, Growdigi, can you kind of catch us up a little bit on what's been going on with Proof of Review since we talked to you last?
So things are kind of changed on our end a little bit as well. So I think when we initially first started the project, the idea was to verify the development team, hence the name Proof of Review. And then we do like a basic review on the project. I think as things have progressed over time, we kind of look at the team, we look at our expertise, and we kind of look at the projects we review. We kind of think we can add a lot more value to the reports by basically just kind of looking at them a lot more in depth, using our knowledge of crypto and kind of assessing the project in more detail. So I think the main thing that we've kind of changed along the way is that now we're assessing projects and giving them ratings. So that kind of does one of two things. I guess it kind of gives the end viewer an analysis of the project in terms of how they can compare it to other projects out there. But also it kind of gives some feedback to the development team themselves of, to what they're doing well, what they can improve, and I guess that's about it really.
I've noticed that your rating system it's something like a report card where if it's an exceptional project, you're looking at an A plus, that kind of a thing. And then if it's not so, then it goes down the list, B, C, D. So where do you make the cutoff? Can the project actually get an F, for instance?
That's a very good point. I'm glad you asked. So using our metric system right now, we kind of have like a C grade as like a base grade for a project out there. So that tends to be like a standard project that's released, not really doing anything that's quite innovative, so to speak. Their team is quite basic. You don't really get much information about them. There isn't really much history in terms of their experience, maybe even just a non-public team. And then we kind of work up from there, I guess, looking at all the metrics of a project, including price, including the team, including the community, what the project's about, and also the coin distribution. We kind of come up with a grading where we don't want to be too strict on projects, but then we want to kind of make sure the ones that are really outstanding stand out. And I mean, in terms of the grading, we've basically labeled it from C to like an A double plus. And kind of we know that like a project, for it to get that A double plus, is pretty much like this would have to be absolutely outstanding. I mean, for reference, Bitcoin itself wouldn't get like an A double plus on our rating just based on the fact that there's no public information about the team, about their experience. I mean, I guess so, but there's no kind of formation. There's no kind of like company structure behind it. So in a nutshell, I think the grading system we've kind of formulated, we just kind of want to make sure that we kind of incorporate all projects in there and they can kind of be reflected accordingly. And I guess just for a point of reference with that, like if a project's really bad, if there is several red flags, we would probably not even review that and put that on our platform, but also we'd probably get back in touch with the development team and just let them know this is how it kind of graded on our metrics.
Well, that's a really cool way. I know the Proof of Review initially, it was just kind of a factual information. It was kind of putting everything together and just allowing the user to be able to see that information in one place. Now it's got a little bit of objectivity to it and subjectivity to it, to where you can, find that factual information, but also get a little bit of your opinion, which you spent a ton of time in your past, as you mentioned on that first episode with us, that, in mining and researching projects. And, one of the things I wanted to point out as well is initially the proof of review was kind of pointed at proof of work projects. Now it seems to have opened up to coin reviews, exchanges, mining pools, STOs, IEOs, wallets, and so you're kind of reviewing all these different things. Can you tell us a little bit about why this update was important, and what's the new criteria to fall in some of these different categories?
Thank you. Yeah, I think again, we look at the experience of the team around us, and we're so used to utilizing so many products and looking at so many projects in crypto that we just thought it was a natural fit for us to start looking at, reviewing other projects in the space. I think for me personally, the two kind of projects that are under reviewed in the sector, tend to be exchanges and mining pools. I guess a lot of miners can relate to this, but there's no verification for any pools out there. The research we kind of looked into in this was there tends to be around about $25 to $30 million a day transmitted from pools to miners. Now, when you consider that, no part of that is regulated, there's no KYC involved with a ton of pools. The end user does not really know the pool owner in terms of a company structure or, anything that he can kind of verify outside of the website that he's using. So we thought that pools were a natural fit for reviews, because again, I think, people just take a lot of these things on trust, and it's only, when things go bad that people tend to then question themselves, well, did I do enough due diligence? And people have gone through that cycle when they've invested in projects in the space, hence why there's a lot of companies or projects doing project reviews out there, similar to what we do. But I think we can, add something unique and something that's really badly needed in the space, which is kind of reviewing projects that, are not in the mainstream, which tend to be things like mining pools. In terms of the criteria for those, again, I think as someone who's an experienced miner, some of the criteria we're looking at for pools tends to be, where is a pool based? Is there any company behind it? Giving stats on the uptime, in terms of payment stats as well, like how often is this pool paying out? How often does their, or how quickly does their support respond? Again, just touching on things like this, these are questions that people don't usually ask until something goes wrong. So anyone out there can probably resonate that, if they've messed up on an exchange or something's gone wrong, or same with a pool, you send that support request, and your eyes are fixed on when you're going to get a reply, especially, if there's a significant amount of money involved. So again, the review metrics we're looking at for pools and exchanges will slightly differ from the coin reviews that we're doing. So again, these I think are a work in progress. We should have our first pool reviews released this week. I'm actually speaking to a pool operator today about kind of the first pool review and getting it out there. And in terms of the IEO and STO reviews that we're doing, again, we will really kind of want to utilize our experience in this sector. I think the one thing what was really difficult during 2017, especially for a newer investor into crypto, was getting some sort of subjective and objective opinion on an ICO, a project that's due to be launched. These will have slightly different review criteria from our main projects, but I think what we're looking to initiate is, if we're able to review projects at IEO stage and STO stage, and then potentially re-review them post-launch, we're able to give the public a good insight into the project and how it maybe progressed from pre-launch to post.
Nice. Well, what I really like about this is the fact that you're an independent third-party reviewer, and you're providing vital information for the end user, for people, especially when it comes to mining pools. And one of the metrics you mentioned was uptime, and how important that is, especially depending on the type of tracking system they use, the PPLNS versus some of the other alternatives that are there, that can really throw off the amount that you earn using that particular pool if it's cutting in and out or for whatever reason, if there's downtime, So it's important to know those things before you start mining there. So it's great that there is, potentially a resource that's going to evaluate all of these different places, and via the rating system or via the commentary that's there, people can start to get an idea for themselves. Let me ask you this, we went over some of the criteria regarding like what you evaluate, but how do you go about choosing a product for a project to review? Like what does that look like? Is there a process to that, or is it just, purely random? How do you determine what to look at next?
Very good question. And yeah, we have 3 processes for review currently in place at the moment. So the first one is if we really like a project, I'm more than happy to review it. I really like projects in the space that kind of deliver things before they, either ask for funding or before they launch their blockchain. So a good example, recently there's a mining coin called Pexa. I really like this project. I think I'll probably just review this myself. So that's the first way, I guess. If any member of the team really likes the project, they'll just take the initiative and initiate the kind of process for review. The second way we review projects is if a project's interested in review, they can contact us for a review. We'll go through the review process with them and see what option they prefer. Now, in terms of project reviews, we do charge projects for reviews, and with that, they're able to kind of contact us and go through exactly what their needs are, and then we're able to process the review for them. And then the third way we're able to offer project reviews is we offer a community vote. So we ask people to vote on a project they'd like to receive voted. We offer that then basically for review once a month, and the community are able to choose, and then whoever's the winner for that month will then review the project the following month.
So you mentioned right there that some projects have chosen to pay for a review from the proof of review. Is that your main source of income? Is that how you support yourself, or is there other avenues?
Yeah, so I mean, I think the first thing is we always want to keep these reviews free to the public, so we'll never introduce a subscription service or anything along those lines. I think in terms of user experience as well, I'm not really of the type to kind of go down the advertising route. I think sometimes it just kind of affects the user experience on your website. And I think in terms of the service we deliver, we're proof of review. We don't really want to be seen to be promoting projects specifically, via advertising on our website. So in terms of monetization, yeah, our main source of revenue is in terms of paid project reviews. In terms of myself as the founder of the project, I'm full-time crypto. I have been for the last 3 years. Prior to that, I've also been full-time crypto. So out of the last 6 years, I've been full-time crypto for 5 of those. So pretty much crypto is my life. I'm here around all the time. So yeah.
So as you're looking into a project and somebody approaches you, so is there a set fee schedule? How does that work, and how long does it take to do a review?
Yeah, that's a good question. I think initially we have an assessment criteria for projects. So we usually have a quick filter through the project and make sure it meets a certain level of criteria. I think, as I touched on before, with this new grading system, we can quickly see if a project is not going to fit that grading, criteria. And I think we're really keen to kind of have a certain benchmark for projects. So I think that's the first thing. And then in terms of the fee for a project, that all really depends on the project themselves and what they're looking for. We offer several different types of reviews. The main reviews that you see on the website right now are PDF reviews that are available for the public. But we also offer these as internal reports for the project themselves. Again, one of the things we're finding in terms of the team experience and their knowledge is we can give a lot of feedback to developer teams out there. So if you're a development team and you have a blockchain project, you want some independent third-party outlook on, what you're doing well in your project, where you could improve, etc. We're able to do that for you. And again, in terms of, it just depends on what the project's looking for, I guess. Some projects are looking for a very basic review. We offer a very detailed review. If a project wants to go down a basic review, we're certainly able to facilitate that. Several projects have asked for video reviews, which you'll see coming soon as well. So, yeah, we're able to offer a range of services. I guess what we will say is, the project is interested in being reviewed, just contact us via our website, contact us via social media.
Yeah, man. Well, that's a perfect segue there, because I was going to ask you, what's the website? How does the developer get in touch with you? What's the best, direct line to you?
So good question. In terms of the best line to us, our website is www.proofofreview.com. We do have a contact page on there, and you can hit us up. There's like a chat thing on the bottom corner. Just message me. It's always me who replies. You're able to email us via the website as well. So contact form on there. And in case you're on any sort of chat channels, I'm on Discord most of the time, so you can always ping me in the Discord channel. We have a link on our website. You can always DM me directly. And then finally, if you want to DM me on Twitter, at Growdigi or at Proof of Review, that's pretty much always about.
Great. I know what was it? Back in April when we had discussed Proof of Review, we had a review done by you and the team on the Zell project, and obviously, things have grown quite a bit since then, and will we be seeing an update on the Zell report anytime soon?
You certainly will. We came across the Zell again recently in terms of the Zell Core wallet, and I think that was the thing that really impressed me. So when we initially did the Zell review, I think it was back in February of this year, a lot of these things are still on the roadmap, and I think we were just speaking about it before we came on air. So Zell Core was still called Zell Trez at the time, and it's been really impressive to see how that's evolved. I was touching back on the old review just a few days back, and it's very impressive to see how the Zell Core platform itself has really kind of grown from there, and all the things that have been added. So yeah, in terms of an updated review, I've been working on this the last couple of days, so hopefully should have this out by the time the podcast is released, if not a few days after. And yeah, it'll be it's really been really interesting to see how the project develops, not only in terms of the actual development itself, but also in terms of the community that's grown, the awareness, and also the team as well.
We're quickly approaching our 1,000th Zell node on the Zell network, so that's going to be a very exciting time in terms of growth for the project. When we first launched the Zell nodes, we were in the couple hundred, 300-ish, but since January, we've seen that number continue to rise. So we're looking forward to putting that to good use, which of course, like you said, when you looked at the roadmap, you saw some things we have there, and certainly many things that have been added since. So some really good things coming near the end of quarter 3 and into quarter 4. So we're very excited, and this is the time to build. This is what we're all about at this stage in the summertime, moving into crypto Christmas, as it were. So.
I agree. And in terms of the last 6 months, 6 months seems like a long time in crypto, but it's not really. But I just want to say it's really commendable in terms of the Zell team, how far they have come in the last 6 months.
Oh, it's great to hear.
Well, we sure appreciate it. Growdigi, thank you for spending some time with us, and thank you for what you're doing for crypto, man. This resource is, probably long overdue, to be honest with you. I think it gives some users straightforward information about projects, and we're really excited to watch Proof of Review grow. And if you want to visit that site, that's proofofreview.com, as he mentioned. Growdigi, man, thanks so much.
Thank you so much for having me on, guys.
Thank you, and we look forward to seeing that Zell report. And for all our listeners, be sure to check out proofofreview.com to see what Growdigi has been doing. And if you like what you hear, please give us a thumbs up and hit that subscribe button so we can grow our audience here on the Zell Hub YouTube channel. As always, guys, thanks so much for listening, and you've been in the core, powered by Zell Core Plus.